Today I want to talk about how I use paper dolls to plan my wardrobe, my hand knits, the clothes I sew, and the pieces I buy to wear with my clothes. I teach a workshop called Your Hand Knit Wardrobe, and I thought I'd share how the process I teach works with an example. The first thing I want to do is update a piece. I'm coloring in the dress. Until recently, it was a gray linen, but based on previous work on my wardrobe, I overdyed it eggplant to bring some other pieces, like my letters from the Open Road zippered cardie, more fully into rotation. In my class, I teach a 4-step process. Start with what you love. Identify your gaps, know your needs, and clarify your style. My goal today is to take this yarn that I love and figure out how to get it onto my body and into rotation. It's a nice grippy yarn, Romney woolen spun. It's called Lore. It's from the Fiber Co. It's in this resonant brown that I'm really jazzed about. I know this yarn will need to be a layering piece because of my sensory issues. I probably won't be able to wear this all over my torso right against the skin. I can get away with it on the sleeves and cuffs. So I'll start by pulling together some of my existing pieces, leggings, pants, and my staple linen sleeveless dresses. I'm also going to look at what's already in my wardrobe that I love to wear with these pieces so that I'm not duplicating my efforts. I'm unlikely to layer this brown yarn with either of the first two designs, but I hadn't considered layering this with my The Ruffle addendum, and I totally can, so that's a new insight. What I see that's missing is an everyday, oversized cardigan with pockets for tissues and keys and phone and yada yada yada. I'll set aside things that won't work. Off screen, I've taped my line drawing of my body to a window and traced over it lightly. The next thing I'll do is start to build in my requirements for this garment with pencil. It needs to be cozy. I'm thinking raglan because I want it to have a relaxed fit without a lot of bulk, which rules out set-in sleeves and drop shoulders. I'm going to give it a pretty deep arm side under the arm since I'll be layering. I want it to cover my butt so I can wear it with leggings. I want the pockets to have nice squishy tops, like maybe even folded over. And I love a shawl collar, so let's get one of those on there. Having this yarn against my neck might be tricky for me, so I'll give it a pretty wide back neck so it'll set off from my neck some, and I'll have room to layer in a gauze scarf. Next, I'm going to ink in. Tip for drawing. Use lots of different line weights. I'm going to start by outlining with a 12 micron, then do major construction lines with 8s and 5s, and stitch details with 3s and 1s. There's a balance to getting the feel of a design without overwhelming it by trying to capture every detail. I like to hint at the stitch pattern, but not try to draw in every single stitch or cable. You don't have to be an expert at drawing to make paper dolls, and you don't need to buy anything fancy. I used my body model to create my base doll, but you can always take a photo of yourself, bring it up on your computer screen, and trace it off. I've made paper dolls with my daughter's crayons that are just as nice as any made with fancy art supplies. Once I get the line inked in, I'll go back and erase my pencil lines. Make sure to give your ink enough time to dry. Now we color. I like to start by using a black colored pencil to shade. It blends nicer than regular pencil, and I'm not good at shading or light sources, so I fake it. I try to think about where the light source would be, and to keep this consistent on all my sketches so I don't have to think about it too much. And then I leave some white spaces on those spots. Ribbing tends to have a lot of shadow and to feel darker to me, so I just shade that in. If shading overwhelms you, you can totally skip it. I think I get the nicest result when I incorporate colors that don't seem like they're in my fire, so I've flecked in orange and gray. Then I cut. Nothing fancy here. Nice sharp scissors that I reserve for cutting details out of paper. Getting extra material out of the way makes it easier to cut out without warping your piece. I'm going to go back in with my 12 micron pen and finesse the borders a little bit so that they feel even to me. Now it's time to try on. One day I might make the actual doll a little fancier. This is where I'll be able to see if my hem length works with my garments and what the overall balance of my outfits will be. I'm liking the way this feels like a cocoon on my doll, really wrapping up a whole look. I've drawn my cardigan closed, but you can also draw a 2-piece version if you want to see how it looks open, and then put 1 piece on each side. My Aeronite pants here are really flowy, and I'm into this juxtaposition of like this rough hewn texture in the yarn and this linen synthetic blend. So this one's a real winner for me. My next steps would be to go on the search for a pattern that checks these boxes, or to draft one of my own, which is what I'll probably do. I hope this has been a fun tutorial that helps you think about your stash, your wardrobe, and your making process in a fresh way. If you're interested in digging into your wardrobe with an intensive workshop, you can learn more about my workshop, Your Hand Knit Wardrobe, on my website. Send me an email if you have any questions, or if you'd like to book a custom session instead of doing a group one.